Hello, we're Malta. We're going to look at these two little candlesticks. I'll go through the elements of why I like the candlesticks, and I'll go through the elements of what makes them expensive candlesticks. I'll try to explain it to you. These are a pair, and a single candlestick is not particularly desirable, especially when it comes to these brass ones, whether they're continental brass or English brass. With the exception of chamber sticks, with the saucers and the handles, usually candlesticks were in pairs, and decoratively a single candlestick has problems. So pairs of candlesticks are more difficult to find and cost more money to buy. So these candlesticks here have a sort of Danish 20th century shape at first glance, but they're actually not recent. They're late 18th century, early 19th century candlesticks, and when you pick them up, they're so heavy it's very hard to explain. I would say that is nearly a kilo, or perhaps just a bit over a kilo. Very heavy, and the way they're made is the bottom is cast, and then it's spun to polish the surface and remove the granular effect which comes from the sand in the casting mould. These are going to be probably Flemish, not English. If they were English ones, the grooves and the shape would make them Gothic Revival, mid to late 19th century, but they're not Gothic Revival. They're just an earlier candlestick, and they, again, as I said, are going to be continental. They have this three-leg design, which is uncommon, and all of the legs, feet are there, and they're not the ones that you have in England with the pushers, which push the candle out. These are prickett sticks, and they have the spikes, which usually make them earlier, not necessarily, but usually make them earlier. And because the saucer, the sconce, has some width to it, it's likely that they were holding quite a chunky candle, and obviously earlier on it would have been a beeswax candle. Were they from a church? It's possible they were from a church or chapel. There's no markings on them saying they are definitely from a church or a chapel, but it would have been suitable for that purpose. I think in reality they're going to be domestic. In some continental homes, people had not necessarily shrines, but they had little holy parts of a house which they would keep a crucifix, some candles, some bits and pieces. At the top end of that you have the kneeling Bible setups and the home altars. So you do get ecclesiastical furnishings from the domestic settings. So I think that, as I say, I think they're Flemish or further up towards the east. I think they're 1800, something like that, maybe a little bit later, or possibly earlier. The use of brass and bronze in that part of the world was very, very routine. They were making cannons, they were making bells, they were making anchors. They were not scared of making candlesticks. It was a doddle to them. So they are brass, they are a pair, they're heavy, they're distinctive, they're rare. They have the spikes, which is getting very hard to find, and they look spectacular. The base has these lines which are chased into the base. I think they will have turned the metal to get the finish right, and they would have quite easily just put a nail against it and it would have made the marks. And it's just a bit of extra quality, even on the bum feet. There's a little moulding around the middle. They're in all for sale. If you want to see them, they're in Nashar. Thank you very much.